Made in Hollywood.
The action thriller Land of Bad, starring Milo Ventimiglia, is made in Hollywood.
How do you, in that position, draw inspiration from someone that you're just hearing a voice from, And I think, Russell did a wonderful job in his character, pushing Liam and his character forward.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, real-life father and daughter Ewan and Clara McGregor star in the emotional drama Bleeding Love.
I don't know, I loved being that car. Also just seeing the rigs and how we were making it work every day was exciting, and yeah, I loved it. Love that old truck.
And Emma shot it so beautifully.
Plus, Barry Pepper stars in the crime drama Bring Him to Me. The action thriller Red Right Hand features Garrett Dillahunt, and we also spotlight the dystopian horror thriller History of Evil. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
After being ambushed behind enemy lines, a Delta Force team's only hope for survival lies in the hands of an Air Force drone pilot in the action thriller Land of Bad, featuring Milo Ventimiglia.
We're going after a CIA asset that's been captured.
Is this your first mission in theater, JTAC?
Second. Do me a favor. Keep up.
Dave Frigerio and Will Eubank, they wrote a wonderful script that I think attracted the best actors. You got Luke Hemsworth and Liam Hemsworth and Russell Crowe and Ricky Whittle. But then beyond that, for me, I spend a lot of time in the military space. I got a lot of friends in Army Special Forces and spread out, around the military. Do a lot of work with Gold Star families, so families that lost loved ones in combat, advocating for them. So when the opportunity came up to play someone in that world that I do work closely with, it made a whole lot of sense.
I am your eyes in the sky and the bringer of doom.
Subtle. I got movement.
We got a situation. RPC 12 o'clock, incoming!
Weapons away.
This happens all the time in the military space where you have to work with outside groups. Air Force has to work with the Army. Army has to work with the Navy. The Marines, they always travel on Navy boats. So, I think Sugar is the team leader. He's there to keep everybody together. But he also knows that Kenny doesn't have the proficiency that his guys do. But that doesn't mean that he can't look out for him. He's got to look out for him. He has to bring everybody home safe. So Sugar has to find multiple ways to get Kenny to move forward.
Playboy, are you injured?
Can't talk right now.
I get it. This is not where you want to be. Okay, it's not here. It's not here. It's here.
We didn't get a chance to cross paths with Russell. We shot our portion in 6 to 8 weeks ahead of time, and then Russell shot his in 2 to 3 weeks following ours. So we never crossed paths. But, it's kind of what it is in real life. These guys and gals that are operating on the ground, they've got eyes and ears in the sky and like at CENTCOM and these different places that are communicating for them. You never meet, It's like, and how do you, in that position, draw inspiration from someone that you're just hearing a voice from, And I think, Russell did a wonderful job in his character, pushing Liam and his character forward.
You gotta move, man.
Get up and go!
Now streaming on demand. An impromptu road trip forces an estranged father and daughter to confront their rocky relationship in the emotional drama Bleeding Love, starring real-life father and daughter Ewan and Clara McGregor.
What was your plan back there? It's like a 14-hour drive to get to Santa Fe.
Didn't think that far ahead, to be honest. Dad, you're pretty out of shape, though.
I'd always pictured having my dad in the role, and the project kind of started that way with Ruby and with Vera, two of my friends, and then adding on Emma, who's, Vera has known for a long time, as have I.
That was sort of our starting point. Very early on, that was very clear. It was going to be you. And I mean, we were lucky that he agreed to do it, but that was our idea from the start, yeah.
Are you hungry? A sweet tooth you got from me.
Is that all I got from you?
Clara told me that I'm going to write something about us, or I think it was about us, you said, not for us, but I'm going to write something about us with Ruby as a sort of toe test, like dipping your toe to see whether I would go, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or something. And then months and months later, I get the script to read, and I was totally blown away by it.
Both of them are, obviously incredibly talented. There is this thing, that even their movements are similar, the way that they talk, the way, they obviously look like each other as well.
You can get an actor to play a father, but I keep saying, like, it's so interesting skipping that phase of two actors getting to know each other and like having to have some sort of chemistry on the set where it's like, that was already established, that was already real.
Hey, okay, let's go. No, we're just having a conversation.
No, excuse me?
12 hours ago, you OD'd.
I'd had an idea for a road trip movie. I liked that idea of us being in this kind of bubble with people kind of poking in and out of their story, but them kind of being isolated in this space.
I think that was like one of the first ingredients that we added was the road trip aspect, because it's such a like physical journey as much as it is an emotional journey.
This path you're on, it's not worth it.
What do you care?
You're an addict.
Guess who I've learned that from?
The car was certainly like a character in the, that old pickup truck. God bless it for it got us through the movie without breaking down. It didn't sound very good sometimes. It had its issues, but it didn't let us down.
I think a car is actually such a great place to have difficult conversations because it's easier than sitting on a dinner table, for instance, because then you're looking at each other. And I feel like a lot of times when you're not looking at each other, it's easier to have a difficult conversation or like open up because you can just both kind of be looking at something instead of at each other.
There's something greater, something better.
I loved it. There's so much you can really play with just moments of silence and certain looks to one another. And I don't know, I loved being that car. Also just seeing the rigs and how we were making it work every day was exciting. And yeah, I loved it. Love that old truck.
And Emma shot it so beautifully. They came up with such beautiful ways of capturing it. It never felt stale in any way. And also just New Mexico out the window. It's hard to get a boring part of New Mexico that's just all looks so beautiful. So there's that sort of happening as well, the beauty of it all.
Come on.
But I don't care what they say. I'm in love with you. They try to pull me away, but they don't know the truth.
Coming up, Barry Pepper's loyalty is put to the test in the crime drama Bring Him to Me, and the action thriller Red Right Hand features Garrett Dillahunt. To find out where to watch any movie, check out Moviefone.com. Find it, watch it.
When I first read the script, I saw that the car had this sort of its own identity, or almost represented like this third character that becomes the catalyst for them to bond.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
A getaway driver finds himself at a crossroads between his morality and his loyalty in the action thriller Bring Him to Me, starring Barry Pepper.
Nobody has ever tried to steal from me and lived long enough to spend a dime.
Oh! Come on, let's go! Let's go!
Tom the writer pitched me a script a couple of years back, and it wasn't this one. It was like a creature feature, and we had Barry attached to that one. As you know, in Hollywood, things just happen, and I said, what are you working on now? And he's like, oh, it's a crime movie. And I said, give me a read. And I read it, and it was this movie.
Is that a burner? What's the deal? Anybody can be tracked.
When I first read the script, I saw that the car had this sort of its own identity, or almost represented like this third character that becomes the catalyst for them to bond.
Nobody's tracking my phone. The kid can't be trusted.
Who's he been talking to?
Yeah, the film was, very focused on these two characters, and Driver, obviously, he's dealing with all these emotions under the surface and guilt and grief and addiction and all this stuff from his past that he's dealing with. And Passenger's just annoying the crap out of him. He's like, don't touch my car. Don't do anything, just shut up. And I love the contrast, the juxtaposition of those two characters.
Hey! Go somewhere!
You won't make it through the night.
There was no stunt driver. I had to do all the driving. There was no, stunt men. We had to do our stunt scenes. And so it was an exciting electric time, but also really intense.
I don't think we would have got the film done as quickly as we did if we had to keep switching out stunt drivers and that. So he was amazing at driving, and it was a saving grace.
Nobody steals from me and gets to live.
That, of course, is the challenge, the nature of really tight budgets and independent filmmaking is, you know, you can't have everything.
We had to find ways to really make sure that the film was interesting and not just the same thing every time. So lots of different, coming up with ways to shoot that car.
It's a simple storyline, you know, it's a genre film, it's a genre crime thriller that is, you know, character driven. And if you like, you know, those type of genre films, then you're gonna love this.
There's a lot of father, son, daughter thing going on throughout the script, whether it's Sam's, you know, father, son, or Barry, or surrogate with the passenger. So there's a lot going on in there, which I kind of enjoyed.
I had a little head injury recently, so I want to be quite sure I got this clear.
I hope people watch the film and sort of think, what would I do in this situation? Like, everyone is kind of between like a rock and a hard place, and in life that happens sometimes, and it's kind of like, how far would you go?
Now streaming on demand. A quiet family man finds himself pulled back into a life of crime by an Appalachian kingpin in the rural action thriller Red Right Hand, featuring Garrett Dillahunt.
Bottom right corner.
Slow it all down, Savannah. See it. Say the word. You know what to do.
I'd heard of the Nelms brothers. I'd seen a few of their movies, and I've had some friends work with them. John Hawkes, who I knew from Deadwood, I worked with them, and Walton Goggins did, and they both had really nice things to say about both of them.
I read it and I responded to it. I met with the directors. I believed in them. And I said they have a very specific vision for this. And not a lot of movies get made these days.
God.
For God.
Family.
Family. Survival.
You know, when Jonathan's script landed on our desk, we absolutely loved the writing. We loved the characters. The dialogue was absolute magic. And that got us interested, right? We were like, oh, wow, this is a great story with great characters.
We grew up on a 10-acre horse ranch in kind of the middle of nowhere. And this vibe, we didn't grow up in Kentucky, but the vibe of this farm and this family and their plight and their cause, like, really spoke to us.
They're under the impression that you're in Big Cat's debt that you owe.
I took a loan on my place.
How much trouble are we in?
We liked her. We loved Andy. You know, Groundhog's Day were like one of our favorite films of all time. But we were like, well, she just hasn't ever done anything like this. We're going to be spinning our wheels, making a submission for her to say no.
It was a nice departure for her, I think. She was nervous about it a little bit. I didn't get to work with her as much as I hoped, but there was obviously that one section where we all meet.
We liked the idea of her in the role, but we didn't think there would be anything she'd be interested in. And luckily, her agent passed it to her to read. And she loved it, and she reached out to us and said, hey, I really want to do something like this, which kind of blew us away and got us really excited.
I thought I'd give you a chance to work off the debt.
I think I was just really impressed by his level of commitment. He spent 2 or 3 months getting the dialect down with a dialogue coach.
You know, I'd never met him before, but I found him to be really kind and really welcoming. And we talked a lot about the accent. You know, he's British, and so he's playing a Kentucky guy.
3 jobs to pay off a debt. 3 jobs and I'm done.
He would call us up every couple of weeks and say, how does this sound? How does that sound? He'd read lines out of the script with us. And man, he really put the work in, and I think it showed.
He doesn't sound like that in real life, and I know he worked super hard on it, and I was just proud of him. I think he did a great job.
He's just the best kind of star to work with because he wants you to be good. He wants the whole thing to be good, and he surrounds himself with good people to make that happen.
For God.
Let's go, kid!
For family. For survival.
To find out where to watch any movie, check out Moviefone.com. Find it, watch it. Up next, politics and horror intersect in the genre-blending thriller History of Evil, featuring Paul Wesley and Jackie Cruz.
When I read the script, it gave me goosebumps. I was very scared too.
when I read it, and I just thought it was a really good film, and it would be an honor to be a part of it.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. On the run from an oppressive police state, a family takes refuge in a remote safe house with a sinister past in the dystopian horror thriller History of Evil.
We have breaking news at the top of the hour. Political terrorist Alegre Dyer Rodriguez has escaped from Evan Detention Center in Louisiana.
Before I was born, my parents were very active in the Iranian Revolution and sort of speaking out and being part of the resistance against that brutal regime. I started writing a script that was a contained family drama about this family that's like stuck in this revolution and the militia showing up to their house. All that actually happened for my parents. I was looking at that script and I was like, this is really deep, but I don't know if it's like entertaining and fun too. I was like, let me bring some of that into the script. So I kind of married the genre. Yeah, it eventually took many iterations, and we thought maybe it's better and more relatable if it's set in near future America.
I say we take our chances and get out of here.
Nobody's going outside.
Stop talking to me like I'm a child.
When I read the script, it gave me goosebumps. I was very scared too when I read it, and I just thought it was a really good film, and it would be an honor to be a part of it.
Should have never brought you and Daria here.
But the boy's helping me.
Good boy.
The one sitting behind you.
My favorite genre films are always cautionary tales. I could tell, obviously, that there was a deep meaning behind the movie. It wasn't just a movie for the sake of being a movie. When he sent it to me, I read it, and I was like, okay, this is in that wheelhouse. And it's an actor sort of playground. It's like this incredible, juicy role. He starts out one way, obviously ends up a completely different, 180 degree view. I was really excited to just dive in and just like go there.
Have you seen any of these political terrorists?
It was a very hard role to do. It was very challenging, but I loved every moment of it. I grew as an actor.
Put the gun down!
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone.
Thanks for joining us for Movie Phone, unscripted.
Can I get hired? I want to be Movie Phone guy. If you have any medical issues, just call Movie Phone.
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by Movie Phone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.
Made in Hollywood.